Prince Harry and Beth Herlihy. Kaboom! Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. You may be unfamiliar with who Beth Herlihy is, so I shall enlighten you. She was somebody who used to work for Harry and Harry's wife. She was ex-palace staff. According to the Mail, and this is back in December 2020, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex boosted their rapidly expanding stable of staff by rehiring 2 palace aides who lost their jobs when the royal couple left the UK. It talks about the fact that Beth Herlihy was employed again, but this time on a freelance basis to work on charity projects in the United Kingdom. So that was why she was brought back in. Apparently, she lost her job in March 2020 when Harry and Harry's wife moved to North America. Miss Herlihy worked as the Sussex's programme manager from September 2018. She had also worked alongside Harry for more than 4 years as an events coordinator at the Royal Foundation, started by Harry with the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. She was amongst 13 taxpayer-funded employees who lost their jobs in March 2020 when Harry and Harry's wife quit royal duties. She hooked up with somebody else called Loughran, who also lost her job, and formed an advisory partnership that links influential people and organisations to good causes. Apparently, Harry and Harry's wife were amongst their first clients, and they therefore have been employed as freelance consultants for Harry and Harry's wife, and that started again in December 2020. So therefore, they've had quite a long period of time being involved with the Sussex, and certainly Miss Herlihy has, as she's worked with Harry for a number of years previously. Typically, of course, the Mail did a little bit of digging around in relation to the attractive Beth Herlihy, and apparently she once played a stripper called Honey in Hollyoaks Late, a spin-off from Hollyoaks. For those of you unfamiliar with Hollyoaks, it's aimed primarily at a young demographic, sort of 16 to 24, I should imagine, and it is a form of soap opera, fairly sort of bubble-gum television. But she played a stripper called Honey under her stage name, Bethan Coundley. She also took part in several modelling shoots, including one in 2012 when she posed in a PVC bodysuit. Ooh, how about that? That's going to get Harry all exciting. But she put her acting days behind her in 2016 when she was hired as an events manager with the Royal Foundation, the joint charitable vehicle for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and the Sussexes. Then when they split up from the foundation, she remained with Harry and Harry's wife, and then, of course, has been more latterly involved as a freelance consultant. So that's a bit of background to Beth Herlihy. But why is this relevant? Well, she accompanied Harry to his tour in Singapore and is also with him in Dusseldorf when Harry's wife is not. She was seen wearing a rather fetching white outfit, and interestingly, she has come up on the radar of the Sussex squad. Their Instagram page was basically slating her, asking, "Who is this woman who's flirting with Harry?" Harry's wife needs to be told about her. Now, is it the case that she's been acting flirtatiously with Harry? Does she see perhaps that she's going to be a replacement for Harry's wife? Well, that all remains to be seen. But it is interesting that the Sussex squad feel suitably threatened by her presence. Understandably, they're protective of their queen. But what does all of this mean vis-à-vis Harry's wife's narcissism? The presence of another female who is friendly with Harry, who is spending considerable time with him, who is attractive, probably intelligent, probably quite eloquent, is a threat to Harry's wife's control. It doesn't matter that Harry is in devaluation, because Harry although he's in devaluation, is not allowed to be happy or content. So, for instance, Harry's wife might be making a bid to be buried in a Y-shaped coffin and getting spliced regularly whilst Harry's away. Of course, that's simply speculation on my part, but is commensurate with the behaviour of a somatic narcissist, which Harry's wife is. But even though she might be misbehaving and playing away, Harry's not allowed any fun because he belongs to Harry's wife. He has to behave himself. Because if Harry gets attention from somebody else, or somebody else is making eyes at him, that undermines Harry's wife's control of him, and that is simply not allowed. This individual, who would be a non-intimate secondary source in Harry's wife's fuel matrix, would be viewed as a threat to her control over Harry, and therefore may well find herself on the receiving end of corrective devaluation from Harry's wife. She certainly would not be impressed if she was reading reports of Beth Herlihy apparently being flirtatious around Harry. That would threaten her sense of control and could well lead her to asking Harry over the phone, "So what have you been doing with Beth?" And Harry has to plead his innocence in order to demonstrate that he is behaving himself and thus attend to that need for control that Harry's wife has in relation to him. It's certainly something that's going to pose a problem for Harry's wife. She isn't going to be pleased at all by the presence of someone that she may deem a rival. Now, Beth Herlihy may have no interest whatsoever in old ginger bollocks. She may simply be carrying out a professional role and she's just simply being friendly with Harry. But that cuts no mustard with the narcissist. Her being friendly with Harry is seen as encroaching on Harry's wife's territory. And remember, Harry's wife's paranoia and her narcissistic traits of jealousy, narcissistic traits of pride, will be harnessed by the narcissism to say, "Hey, there's an interloper. This biatch is encroaching on your territory. Harry belongs to you. You need to make sure Harry remembers that and that this biatch is also fully aware of that." Harry's wife, therefore, may well contact Beth Herlihy and accuse her of inappropriate conduct with Harry, or could ensure that she is no longer required or that she is offered positions or projects away from Harry so as to nullify that threat to control. Harry would likely get a bit of a tongue lashing off Harry's wife as a consequence of the presence of this woman. Harry hasn't done anything wrong so far as we are aware. He's simply doing what he does, meeting people at the games, he was meeting people in Singapore, and this lady has been helping him. But remember, the distortion field through which Harry's wife sees all of this will interpret it entirely differently. The narcissism has to make Harry's wife alert to this potential threat to control, so that rather than her just go, "Yeah, she's just being friendly with Harry, it's no biggie," she's motivated to step in and nullify the threat to control, even when Harry is in a sustained devaluation. Therefore, the presence of the not unattractive Beth Herlihy is going to pose a problem for Harry's wife, and should news have reached her about her involvement in potentially flirtatious behaviours, that will have caused a small thermonuclear explosion in the Monty Shit Show area. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for listening.